Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Uncle Sam and Random Ninja.
Randomus Ninjamus.
That's that guy right over there.
Across from the table.
Yes.
The one with the hat.
Yeah, not me, him. And we are on the third installment.
Third.
Of what?
Well, third and, I mean, presumably final.
Hopefully final.
I think so. Because if we stretch this out to...
No.
Yeah, we don't have that kind of time. No. But we're talking about none other than one of the greatest movies I've ever experienced, which means I love it. And, you know, I don't always like that when people say, oh, this is the greatest movie ever made. I'm like, well, that you know, that's an opinion. You know, maybe it is, maybe it isn't, you know. But this one, in my world, Tombstone.
Tombstone.
Welcome, everyone, to the Scarecrow Hour. The Scarecrow Hour. Yeehaw! Starring none other than Random Ninja Mouse, Random Ninja Jane, and also Who's Your Uncle, Uncle Sam. Random Ninja James and Uncle Sam are here for your viewing pleasure. We are so glad you made it. Thank you for joining us on the Scarecrow Hour. Brought to you by Uncle Sam Presents.com. Now let's talk about Tombstone.
Dum.
We've been talking about it. We appreciate y'all checking out the other two videos and that you're still with us to watch this as we go into the, I would say this is about third act of the film. Maybe the end of the second act. Yeah,
end of the second.
End of the second
Yeah,
act.
end of the second act. So if you haven't already seen the first two episodes, I highly suggest that you stop this right now. Go back, watch the first two, then start this back over again. Please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, do all those fun things. Let us know your favorite lines. I would really like to hear that. You know, drop a comment down below. Leave your favorite, maybe Doc Holliday quote.
Well, I mean, dude, I wonder if there's people out there that actually that Doc's not their favorite in the movie, that Wyatt is, or even Bill. You know, I mean.
Who is your favorite?
Somebody's gonna be like, well, Johnny Tyler. He stole the dang show. Is that a fact?
They're gonna watch 2 seasons of Landman and say Johnny Tyler's my favorite. It's like, okay.
Oh no, that would be like, you know, people. I don't know, like it doesn't really happen with movies, but like music, people are always like, oh, I've liked this band since their first demo, you know, and that was their best stuff. And that always bothered me because a band should get better, you know. And then people are like, no, their demo tape was the best they ever did. I'm like, that's like saying somebody like Christian Bale, oh, he does some good movies, but he did this play in high school. That was his best work, bro. I like stuff he did in high school. That's what's good. I'm a real fan. No, you're not. I don't know. There's no clout there. Don't pretend to like something more than you do or that you've liked something longer than you have. There's just no clout. In the Juggalo world, it's always you got to. Somebody's like, so what's your favorite ICP album? Somebody always jumps up, Dog Beats. Dog Beats is not a good album. Yeah, but that was my first because like my cousin sent it to me. It's like, really? Because if as many people listened to Dog Beats when it came out, they claim they do, that album would have went like triple platinum. Apparently.
It was like 8 people.
Yeah, but you know, yeah, if that, bro. We've made albums. We've heard them. Not everybody in the band heard it. So I'm just saying that's what those are. You know, it's like quit. There's no clout there. Okay. So if somebody's like, I've liked Tombstone since it came out, I like that movie before it ever was made.
I've liked about it ever since I heard about somebody was walking around the Days Confused set.
Yeah. He read that. Yeah, there's my uncle there riding around us. Anyway, I'll get off that rant and we're going, okay. So we've just had the legendary shootout at the OK Corral.
And the cowboys are burying their dead.
And that is the happy ending of the movie.
There you go.
That was it. That's what
Appreciate
happened.
you guys stopping by.
Thank you.
And this has been, anyways.
That was a long happy. Okay, no, there was a little bit more. Like, if we go back. I'm sorry, it's just like, I was thinking back to, like, Wyatt accidentally getting shot in the bar. By the bartender throws him the gun. Crap. You know, with as much shots that happen.
Milt did not shoot Wyatt.
Didn't
Oh, Milt.
Oh,
Milt.
Well, there's like so many random gunshots. You think people just get hit anyway. Like the movie's just sitting there like, da-da-da, bam, random bullet, catch Virgil or something.
Well, I kind of wondered about that whenever Curly Bill's just shooting off. And it's like,
Yeah.
Somebody might have caught a stray.
Somebody somewhere, some hero coming into town caught a bullet. But I'll tell you what,
Never gonna get to know his name because he just caught a random bullet.
I just know that it's really important that that Wyatt and his brothers and Doc Holliday all went to the OK Corral to shut down the Cowboys, because had they not done it, their mustaches would have been forced to. The real heroes of the movies. You just see four mustaches.
Well, see, that's what you don't understand is the mustaches actually decided to go do that. The guys just had to follow along because they happened to be attached to the mustaches.
Yeah, the mustache is like a symbiote or something. Venom style sucks your face and suddenly makes you an awesome lawman in a wool coat. Oh, there's another fun fact about this movie. Like, to be authentic, they actually wore wool. Their costumes are wool.
Oh,
yeah,
that stuff's hot.
Yeah, Val Kilmer joked around. That's why Doc Holliday was always getting in gunfights, because he's so mad because he's hot all the time. But yeah, they were doing that, and when they were filming in the birdcage scene, they said that theater. They said the thermometer was somewhere in like the 130s.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So yeah, I'd shoot somebody too.
Yeah,
probably.
no, that's not very fun.
Yeah, because I don't mind being hot. I don't mind being hungry. I don't mind being tired, but never at the same time.
No.
And heat is the worst. I turn into a real jerk. When
Oh
it's
yeah,
hot.
me too.
Yeah, I mean,
Been there, done that.
leave us alone, man.
Yeah.
We're hot. We're big dudes and it's hot. Leave us alone.
Remember us in the furniture?
Yeah, I do. And I called that before we went in. I was like, guys, it's like 98 degrees. We don't need we don't need to all be working in the same area. It'll be fine, James. 10 minutes later, yeah. I was like, I told you it was hot. Shut up, James.
Yeah, that turned ugly.
Yeah, wonderful times. Wonderful.
I had fun.
Oh yeah, no. You think back to the jobs of the past, and you went because you had to and all that stuff. But actually, when you think about it, it's like, man, that was fun. That was like not much responsibility.
Yeah.
It was a good time,
That was
like
a good time.
yeah. But you got to move forward. Those good time jobs never pay that well. I mean, so anyway, we're at the funeral now where they're shooting off the fireworks and
Yeah, they shoot off the fireworks and they're
murdered in the streets of Tombstone.
Yeah, dead. Yeah.
They say something like that, like murder.
Yeah, on the banners.
Yeah,
Yeah.
murder. Like that's petty.
Yeah.
That's just petty.
Yeah.
It's like something people would do today.
Yes,
like
definitely. Definitely,
yeah.
100%.
Yeah, your criminal acquaintance gets killed being a criminal, and then you're gonna start them a GoFundMe and tell everybody how they're the victim and everything.
It sounds really familiar.
Very familiar, bro.
Yeah,
Like it's not
actually
even
very
funny.
familiar.
Like,
very familiar.
we laughing, but it's really not funny.
Well, a few years ago, we had a whole summer of riots based on something very similar. So,
It's just yeah. So
yeah.
So I guess
Still going on
maybe that's
today.
where it all started.
Yeah, it
know.
has not stopped.
And changed. But you know what? People get killed all the time, but how many people got to get killed in the most famous gunfight ever?
No joke, right?
Yeah, we wouldn't even know these people.
You were embodied by Lowell.
Yeah. What happened if those dudes were actually pretty cool guys? Wouldn't that suck? Like they were actually cool guys and they were there and they're like, yeah, and then like
They're just trying to back up their friends.
yeah, the Wyatt show up and they're just like, come on, man. And then Doc Holliday's all freaking, we don't know that he's all like coked up or something. Or whatever they did back then, we have to edit that one, but he's all jacked up on whatever TB medicines and freaking whatever Big Nose Kate gave him, and he's all just like, yeah.
Maybe
Just
that's why they called her Big Nose Kate.
maybe that is. Girl's got a nose like a Hoover. So many jokes there. I'm letting them go, though. I'm letting them go.
So the next day, you have
Yeah. No,
yeah.
Next
Then
day.
you have Billy, who's pretty ticked off, and a drunken Ringo shows up.
Oh yeah. I like
Yeah.
him here. And he's all like,
I want your blood.
I want your
I want your
souls.
souls, and I want them both right now.
Great evil sinister Ringo,
Do that line in the Macho Man voice.
Oh yeah, what's your soul?
I want your blood. I want your souls.
Dig it.
I want them both right now.
Let me tell you something, brother. Say when. And you're a daisy if you do, brother. We're going to take this out. Dude, yeah, we're going to recast Tombstone with nothing but 80s wrestlers. And,
So Wyatt responds with, no, there's no money in it.
yeah, he's like, I'm not going to fight you, Ringo. There ain't no money, which I like that line, too. That's another one I've used before.
Yeah.
Just like, I'm not going to do that. There's no money in it.
Says, you wretched slugs. Don't any of you have the guts to play for blood?
And who happens to be listening? Well, he's getting a little shavy shave.
I'm your Huckleberry.
Yes, there it is. A great line. Yeah.
I am the man for the job.
Yeah.
I got you. I'll play that game.
Real quick. Yeah, that's just my game. But So there is speculation about that line. That the actual term they used to use was hucklebearer, and that was the person that would carry your casket. One of the people that would be one of your pallbearers because it's called a huckle.
Okay.
I'll be a hucklebearer. Now, if that Val Kilmer has said though, he said he knows that. He knows about that. He's aware of it. But the line he said is, you're Huckleberry. He says Huckleberry. Some people will say, well, no, because it's Huckleberry. He says, and it's hard in that drawl to hear, but no, Val Kilmer said it himself.
Yeah,
I'm your
I
Huckleberry.
just assumed it's like, Tom Sawyer.
Yeah.
Finn,
I'm with you kind of thing,
Yeah.
But I think the real roots of it is Hucklebearer.
Yeah, makes sense. All right, whatever.
Yeah, whatever. It's a great line. I don't
Whatever.
care.
He says it twice in the movie, and he says Huckleberry.
Yeah, no, he says it. And like I said, that's what
The
he
second time, you clearly, I mean, it's he says Huckleberry.
Because when I first read that, I went back in my head. It's like, no, he says Huckleberry. What Huckleberry? Huckleberry.
Huckleberry. I just always took it to Huckleberry Finn.
That's what
the
I
way
do
that
too. Like I'll go on this adventure
Yeah.
with you, kind of thing. I'll play with you.
So
But that's just my game. He's got his gun behind his back already.
I know, right?
Yeah, he doesn't even have to draw. It's
No,
there.
yeah, exactly. And Curly Bill sees it and he's like, whoa,
Oh,
whoa,
yeah.
whoa, 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 whoa.
He's
It's like,
just-
you're going to die today. If you do this, you are going to die.
It's
Like,
like-
no, come on.
First off, you're drunk.
Yeah.
Second off, he's sober.
He is stone sober.
Yeah, and he has his gun out
Yeah.
already.
Yeah. It's
He-
like, you ain't got this, boy.
Yeah, and then they take him away. And he's all like, "He's just drunk. That's all."
Yeah, he sees exactly. He's like, that's my smartest and my most deadliest dude. I'm not letting him die over
Right,
this. Like, not now.
because you know exactly what happened if Doc would have shot him dead. Doc would have went ahead and sat back down and been like, "You may proceed."
You may proceed.
He would continue with
Baba,
his shit.
you may proceed.
Which is also a great line. Again, I mean, it would be harder to find a line in this movie that Val Kilmer says that's not great.
I
You know what I
agree.
mean? Yeah, just like find some line and quote it. In almost any line, if you quote it, people go, "Oh, that's Doc Holliday."
Without a doubt.
What are you gonna do? But yeah, but then you also get because Curly Bill's all like, "Not the time,"
Yep.
So he's a smart guy. He's got
Yeah.
a plan.
Yep. He just knows now, not right now.
Right.
We
He's
got
like, now
some
it's you drunk.
No,
not
we
with
got to
them ready.
celebrate. We got to just, we just laid our boys down.
Yeah.
Just give it a minute.
But also, you're right about.
Things calm down.
Let's talk about Billy Nilly for a second, played by Jason. I totally forgot his real name, but he was a teen heart. Billy Nilly, played by Jason. Forget his real name though, but he was in 90210. He was Brandon, and yeah, you know that at all? Which was cool to see him then, because at that time 90210 was still kind of a hot show.
Billy who?
Billy Nilly, the guy that liked the thespian, that liked Billy Zane.
Oh, Billy Breckenridge.
Billy Breckenridge. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But they call him Billy Nilly at that one point.
Yeah.
That's why I call him Billy
for some
Nilly.
reason, I know I had him on here, but I didn't.
Yeah, but he was a teen heartthrob kind of.
Oh, okay.
actor. Jason somebody, I forget. It's not Bateman. It's not Patrick.
No, I know.
Presley? Presley? Was it Jason
Yeah,
Presley?
that's someone from that show.
90210? Yeah, I think that was it
Yeah.
then, because he's not Luke Perry. I think
Well,
Jason Presley.
Obviously, he's not
He's-
Luke Perry.
Brandon. Yeah, Luke Perry's Luke Perry. I'm here with 90210.
Yeah, it is Jason Priestley.
Yeah. Yeah, because I
Son
remember
of a bee.
watching that movie going, whoa, because again, he was
Okay,
kind of
yeah.
90210 was still kind of around
Okay,
and
yeah.
a big deal,
Yeah. Okay.
And then I remember kind of
I
thinking,
just didn't even put. Whenever I was scrolling through and I saw him, like he doesn't look the same.
No.
Today on the picture, it doesn't look the same. And even in Tombstone, he doesn't necessarily.
no, because he's got the beard. He looks older.
Yeah.
He plays high school
Yeah.
in 90210, and that's really the only thing he was in. I mean, he didn't really have any kind of film career. I mean, he did some movies, but nothing big. Like this was probably his biggest movie he was ever in. Jason
Okay.
Priestley. Yeah, sorry. Anyway, I just wanted to since we're still talking about actors, familiar faces.
Was he one of them that was in Domino?
Domino? I don't know. You like that movie more than I did.
Yeah, no, I did. I enjoyed it.
Keira Knightley's cool, but I don't really remember.
It's such a mashed up movie.
There was a theme for a little while with movies where they had this really bright look to them.
Yeah, that was one of them.
Yeah, and it's like it only goes so far.
Yeah.
That's a negative to me.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't ruin the movie, but it's
I was
a
just thinking about the something about someone was talking about. Oh, whenever you mentioned something about we were talking after we shot the Dazed and Confused thing, and you mentioned that Wooderson worked at the DMV.
Yeah, that he
and that reminded me of from Domino. You have the three black ladies from the DMV that give the bounty hunters all their info and intel on everybody because they have all the hookups with everybody's information and stuff. And I don't. Anyway, sorry. Shiny thing sidetrack.
Well, it was a very shiny movie.
Very
bright.
Mickey Rourke's a BA in it.
Mickey Rourke. Gosh, it seemed like he was. Oh no, that's Death Proof. He was actually the first choice for Stuntman Mike.
Oh really?
And and they offered him the movie, and then he just never got back to him. So he was like, "Fine, I'm calling Kurt Russell." You know, how's that gonna make you feel? You turn down a movie role, you don't take it serious, and then Kurt Russell takes it. Like, well, dadgum.
It's like you should have taken that serious.
Yeah, I mean, I like Mickey Rourke a lot. He was killer in freaking The Wrestler and Marlboro Man and all that stuff. But and then whatever with the Iron Man 2. But his career has not been hot.
Yeah.
So
he played in what was the one with Depp played in it, and then Antonio Banderas played in it.
Donnie Briscoe?
No. This is like a Western Mexican themed. It's not.
Once Upon a Time in Mexico?
No.
Dead Man? Is it black and white?
It might have been Once Upon a Time in Mexico. Yes, actually, it was Once Upon a Time in Mexico.
Well, okay.
Because he has the guitar case he's got the guitar and he's got the gun.
Yeah, that's Antonio Banderas.
Yeah.
Desperado, the character.
Desperado.
Yeah, Mickey Rourke. The sequel is Once Upon a Time in Mexico.
Okay, that's what it is. Once Upon a Time in Mexico. That Mickey Rourke.
Yeah, I like.
Yeah.
Anyway,
sorry. There we go.
It's useless. Anyway,
so we've got a storm that's rolling up.
The storm is rolling in.
The storm is coming in, and both literal and physically.
Yeah. So, and this really did happen, but this was actually two separate events that took place like years apart from each other as far as what happened to both the brothers.
Mm-hmm.
But
so Biehn goes to Josie, and he essentially tells her that the cowboys are about to take out the Earps.
Yeah, and then she, she gets over herself and goes to the Earp girls, right?
Yes. Yep. She runs over there to their hotel room or whatever.
Well, it's a cottage. Because remember, he says that he's like, I've got 3 cottages.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Okay, there you go. In one of the cottages, she's like, I know it's horrible for me to come here, but...
Why? Because you look at her husband? I mean, seriously.
Well, they went right in together, and then they sat on a blanket together.
Well, who told her that?
Well, still, she knows it.
I just think it's weird.
Yeah.
I think it's like, oh, they're having this affair because they look at each other.
Well, the intention's there, so you meant it.
Well, and she's into it, and Kurt Russell, I mean, Wyatt, he's fighting it, It's dadgum. Make a choice here. Are you having an affair or not?
Or not.
And plus, his wife, she's such a junkie, he could just be like, hey, baby, I'm cheating on you. Here's a bottle of the drugs you like. Junkie.
Here's one bottle of London. By the way, I'm cheating on you. Here's the other bottle.
Junkie's going to junk, so. So, like, no offense to anybody out there struggling through problems. You get it.
Just quit junking.
Yeah, quit junking, man, and let your spouse have a horse riding affair and looking at strange dancers. I don't know. Anyway,
so you've got the Virgil walks out of the saloon.
Yeah,
you got the horrible mustache kid.
Yeah, it is him too.
Yeah.
That goes. It took me a while to figure out which one that was doing it.
Yeah, oh yeah, I saw the mustache. That's where I actually make the note. That's actually where I make the note, and. Say, can we mention the Mexican kid with the terrible mustache sticking out over the ends of his mouth?
He has a terrible mustache. He can't speak English. He can't speak Spanish, and he can't even kill some women, unarmed women.
Well, did he do that, or did he shoot Virgil?
He definitely. That's him that goes into their place because I caught a glimpse of his face.
Okay.
I believe.
Okay.
If I'm wrong, hit me up in the comments.
Because somebody shot Virgil,
right?
Because he comes into the saloon and he's been.
But they don't know that right away. They think it's thunder because of the storm.
Yeah, I know, but I'm just saying.
Right.
Obviously, somebody.
Yeah. So
shot him.
Yeah.
And he's the only one they show.
Yeah, but I think he's the one that comes in with the blanket on his head.
Okay.
And they're like, oh, it's just Virgil. Yeah, because I guess he'd shoot Virgil and then go in Virgil's
There
spot.
you go. Yeah. Okay.
Which
yeah,
is
that would make sense.
which is weird that they just didn't have all the Cowboys ride on them at this point. But anyway,
They say in real life, they give credit to. Well, hold on, I'll get there in a second. Virgil his home. Wyatt and Morgan are at the Oriental. Allie's playing with tarot cards. She pulls the Tower of Babel, the devil, and death. It's like it's going down. That's when Josie comes in. She warns the girls. Then we get the shotgun blast from the blanketed dude. Then we got Virgil comes wandering in. He's been shot. That dog starts barking. First time. And that's whenever Morgan starts freaking out, talking about how they're bugs and you can't live with bugs. There's no let and let live with bugs.
Right, which I think that sticks with them after this night, like him saying that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, that's just
Well, yeah, because after then it's on. So that's whenever McMasters rolls up with Creek Johnson and Texas Jack, and McMaster throws his sash.
He's like, I heard what they did to your women. That ain't right. You know, he's like, you sure? I thought it was brothers. And he's like, not now, not after night.
Yep, he's done.
Which, just that was it for him. Which, they killed the bride, they killed the preacher, and obviously this dude's a man of morals and stuff. At
least some sort of morals.
Well, yeah, and I can get that too. It's like, hey, I'll kill men, I'll kill any man.
Yeah,
but I'm not going to kill a woman. I'm not going to kill a priest. I'm not going to kill a kid. I'll kill 50 men and not think twice about it. I'll shoot them in the back of the head. You got to have a code.
No, I understand. Yeah, no, I get it. And it's one of those deals that after, kind of after that, you learn to appreciate him. Sorry, I've got to adjust this. Keep smoking.
Excuse you.
I know I've got a in there.
By the way, anybody, if you haven't watched the show before and you're like, oh, cool, they got the Western thing set up and they got the Tombstone, and they got the Texas flag. Don't they know Tombstone's not in Texas?
We didn't have an Arizona flag.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Probably wouldn't have used it if we did.
No, definitely not.
We're Texas.
Yeah,
we're
so.
Texas based. The Texas symbolism is just always going to be there.
Yeah, it is what it is.
And you're welcome for that.
And so like from then on, after he throws the sash, you've got Creek and Jack and McMasters are with him from then on throughout the movie, even until the.
And then he like picks that sash up.
Yeah, and kind of holds it and carries it, and
like, maybe I should join the Cowboys.
Maybe
if I put this sash on,
does that make me a cowboy?
Could I? They wouldn't know me. I'd reckon I could
blend right in. I'd sneak right in and get these guys.
I could take over. I could be the new Johnny Ringo. No, wait, Doc can be the Ringo. I can be the Curly Billy. Anyway, stop it.
Okay. And so that's more thunder, and it's like, is that a gunshot? Who knows? Whatever. That's when Morgan gets shot in the back while he's playing pool.
Yes, that's too bad.
And that's when history says that it was actually Johnny Ringo that pulled that trigger.
Really?
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Really? I never knew that. But yeah, that'd make perfect sense. It'd be Ringo. He'd want to. And it would be in the back.
Yep.
I do know that history also says that Morgan really did say what he said about I don't see anything.
Oh, really?
Yeah. As he's done or whatever. But he also, doesn't he say it again? Wyatt, you're the one?
I think so.
They can make like a freaking, I don't want to say drinking game out of this, but you really could. It's like every time Doc says something quotable, every time Morgan says you're the one.
Oh Lord, you wouldn't make it very far.
No.
Not far at all. Wouldn't make it off the couch.
Truth.
So after it's all said and done, we got Morgan dying. Well, first they can't fix Virgil's arm.
Yeah.
And then you have Morgan's dying on the table, blood everywhere. Dog is just barking up a storm. Get that dang dog out of here. So it's the second time tonight that SOB's been going off. So yeah, no white light, turns out.
Well, not for him. Not in that moment. But it's sad. It's really sad to see that character go.
Yeah,
because he was kind of the innocent of the.
Which is also kind of the end of that. Kind of is the turning point, and it's kind of very symbolic for the turning point.
True.
It's like this is the end of any type of innocence. This is the end of whatever it is that Wyatt's been telling himself this whole time about not getting involved, not doing this or that or whatever. It's like now it's completely over with. It's done. There's no turning back from this point on.
Yeah, this is really when the movie starts to turn into a revenge film.
Yeah,
at this
yeah.
point.
Yeah, we're about to get
Yeah, I mean that's where
several
revenge becomes the theme. You know,
montages of death coming.
but we're getting
So, anyways, Wyatt's covered in blood. He's standing outside. He comes wandering outside, and there comes Josie. And of course, he's no, go away, not now.
Go away.
Whatever.
one brother dead, the other crippled, and I had a sash and I lost it. And
She comes running out, and then my wife sees, and she runs off. And
again with the you looked at her, y'all looked at each other. Is there like another version of this movie where they like get it on and kiss and stuff, and they're like, no, we can't do that, let's edit out, let's make them look at each other, it's a visual affair.
it's like, I know this is rated R, but we don't want to do all that. It's like, that gum, bro. So now we have Morgan in a casket.
Yeah,
The Earps are leaving town.
a beaten Wyatt just looks beaten.
Yeah,
right here,
he's
dude.
he's done down.
His hair, his hair's down, and on the way out they stop by old Curly Bill and Ringo, and he's like, I just want you to know it's over, and then Curly Bill says one of my favorite lines in the entire movie, one of the best deliveries of, well,
Bye.
and then Ringo, that
You
SOB,
smell that?
what?
Smells like someone died.
I love how Bill is like, Dad,
He's like,
come, dude.
Rough.
Yeah.
That's low.
One time, I won't say what it was. One time, my sister sent me a text about somebody that wasn't liked in our family or whatever, passing away or something. And I won't say the comment she made. And I just sent her back that thing of Curly Bill going, jeez.
It's like, that was too far.
Right? It's like, it's kind of what she said is kind of funny, but I don't think we should be laughing. And then that's the end of it. Then they leave and it's over. It's done.
Yeah, movie's over.
Movie's over. It rolls. That's
We'll also remember Josie walks across the street.
Would she look at him again?
No, she doesn't. I don't think she looks at all.
She doesn't look. The affair's over.
Yeah, no, she's just looking straight across. Well, I think when she walks out, she kind of sees him, and then she pops up her little parasail.
Yeah, yeah.
And then I'm just gonna waltz my big butt over
Oh
here.
no, it's over. And you know
then
what?
Doc's like, and just like that, she walked out of our lives.
Our lives. What color's Wyatt Earp's eyes? Because after that, did he have blue eyes? Okay. Anyway, I'm glad you got that. And if you cut it, that's fine. But no, so they're leaving except for Curly Bill's like, who's he send? Who's he send?
Oh, I
can't do anything right.
can't get it right.
They can't.
Gosh,
I'm gonna send him.
Stillwell.
Yeah,
Whoever
right.
that is.
Take Stillwell.
Yeah, take Stillwell.
Go on now.
Finish
Finish it. It's like, okay,
It's like, you think that's really gonna really?
yeah, but
Failed it.
I guess
Literally everything the entire movie.
I guess he's like, look how beat he is. Oh, even Ike could
Yeah.
finish it.
Maybe.
Ike, take a gun this time.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Gonna get law dog. All right.
So go ahead.
Okay, so we're at the train station.
Yeah, the Earps are loaded back up on train 5150.
Oh, I love this scene.
And they're like, well, that's Virgil there in the car with the women. And he goes, hey, Maddie, where's Wyatt?
Yeah, right
behind you, Stillwell. Boom!
Sucker. And then
what does Ike do? He starts groveling. Oh, no, please, no.
I got to tell you, though, I think at some point in everybody's life, you feel like Ike. Like at some point, you're just like, something so bad's happening and you just wish it would stop. You're like, oh,
It's a bad idea.
it was bad. I'm
sorry.
Change.
I'm
And then-
sorry.
Yeah, and then so like you see Wyatt, and Wyatt wasn't just like, oh, well, there's like, better kill him. It's like, no, this was a plan because
Oh, yeah.
he's got his boys behind him now.
Oh, yeah.
You see Doc coming up with the freaking
You got McMasters, and you got Creek,
Yeah.
and you got Jack,
you got the new posse,
and
right
you've
here.
got a whole bunch of other marshals, U.S. marshals.
Yeah, and he's like shows that
Yeah,
he's
in
U.S.
that
Marshal.
time that they did that, he got ganged up with the U.S. Marshals.
Yeah,
too.
it's Wyatt freaking Earp, dude. They've
like-
been itching for him
Yeah.
to give him a badge.
Oh, yeah.
You probably didn't have to tell him like, hey, like badge.
Yeah. It's like, hey, we heard what happened. He's like, give it to me.
Right. And then like they just walk by Wyatt Earp and like, hey, how you doing? Don't put that badge on me. Come on, man, wear it. They're always trying to stick a badge on me. But then he's like, he shows him that, and then he does the little spur thing.
Oh, right on his mouth.
Yeah. Just scars him, and he's like, and then gosh, and he's like, go back, and then it's so dope. I don't care, it's so cool, dude. It's probably Kurt Russell's best part in this movie, maybe in any movie. Where he's like, "You tell him I'm coming." You know the line?
And hell's coming with me.
You tell him hell's coming with me, which is kind of a throwback to that whole Pale Rider thing before. You know,
Death,
you know. Except for I think in this thing, Doc's the pale horse because he's looking bad.
Well, Death was coming with him, it says.
Yeah.
And so Doc's the pale horse, and
so this is
Wyatt's Death.
So this is like full circle that it's like, now this is vengeance for everything y'all done. Cowboys, you're done. That preacher's watching from heaven going, yeah.
Dios mío, all right.
Bio con Dios, which means go get him, Wyatt. Kill him all. Avenge me. That's what that means. Bio con Dios, go kill him, Wyatt. Kill them all. Do not Google it. Google.
No, it doesn't.
Google. Anyway, it does. Anyway. So like that, and then now we get into that montage of which, you know, you kind of got to think Wyatt's just like, I don't even want to kill Ike. It's like stepping on a worm.
Well, yeah, what's the point? I mean,
I'll cut his face.
Right. It's really not worth a bullet. Still not worth a
Can
bullet.
you imagine him running back to Curly Bill?
That's what I'm wondering. It's like, why are you letting this guy back ride with you? Like, put him at the back. Like, seriously.
He's like, so did you kill Wyatt? He's like, no, I made him mad, and he got a group now, and he's a marshal.
Like, we lost Stillwell.
I lost Stillwell. I made him a marshal somehow. I made Doc come up with him. It's like, come, dude. Like, you're like, he's there. Like, he's like Wyatt's lucky charm or something. You know, I love you, Ike. I want you in every gunfight from now on the other time.
So now they ride on the red sashes, and you have the first montage of
Any
death.
man wearing a red sash is dead.
Gone, done for.
And it gets pretty furious here with that soundtrack and everything. And the horse, like running against the sunset and everything.
That's a pretty good shot.
Yeah, it gets exciting. And it go through these different things like riding a horse like through the window of a place and
shooting him up in the hotel, and he's like, "Don't move, wait,
by all means,
move."
That's what you have to do there with Doc still being Doc. And one of my favorites though, and I didn't get this when I was younger, is they're in the opium den.
That's what I have right there, dude.
They put the pipe down, and he gets it. I didn't know anything about that when I was a kid, obviously, you know, but I thought it was a bottle. I thought he thought it was a bottle. And I'm like, he thinks he's taking a drink. And I'm like, how can you think that's a drink, man? But okay, whatever.
He wants that smoke.
Yeah, and then later on in life, I'm like,
he got that smoke.
opium. And then I was like, I bet that's what Curly Bill was doing, filling all capital.
Just great.
Yeah. So now the montage goes. And of course, I think that's the best one
where he leans over to smoke the pipe and he gets smoked.
That is an anti-drug,
no joke, right?
Campaign if I ever heard one.
Like,
right,
this is your brain on drugs.
Next time you pick up the pipe, it might be a gun.
It might be the barrel of a 45.
Yeah. The dude's like, oh, it's like, of course you get surrender. You're wearing a red sash. You're dead. Didn't you get the memo? What? I didn't tell you? Dad gum. Yeah. So I guess this takes us to the river scene, right?
Yes. Yeah. Showdown at the creek. Bullets flying everywhere.
Dude, and like they are so screwed. Like they're laying on the ground.
So got you in a little bit of a crossfire.
Yeah, got some boys over there behind you.
Got you caught in
a little bit of crossfire. And they did. They were screwed, bro.
Yeah.
Like they're laying down and they've got like logs.
Right.
You know, and even, you know, think of something, Wyatt, and everything. You see Doc's even like, it's like
we're dead.
I'm the greatest shot in the world, and I can't get us out of this, you know? And then, of course, Wyatt Earp, in all his brilliant wisdom, comes up with no. Which I feel that though, when you just had enough and you're so right, and you're just like, you're gonna lose, you're like, no, I'm not. No, I'm not.
What does he have to lose at this point?
Right. They're all going to die, or he's going to die, or whatever.
You know?
But according to history, he did that.
Yeah.
And he walked out there and basically blew Curly Bill in half. You know, I guess the movie's a little bit more subtle than that was, but like it's so good too, because Curly Bill's like, look at this. He's all excited.
He's like,
you know?
stop! I want some of this.
Right? Yeah. He's like, let me get in. He's not hitting him.
Yeah.
You know, and then when he goes for the rifle, that's when it's like, no, boom. And it's so crazy because so saith the law of every other movie ever made. Curly Bill should have been the last guy killed. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's the big bad.
Yeah.
So that's where one of the things I'm talking about in this movie, where it goes a direction that you don't, that's not traditional. And
True.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love it when you don't see the next step. Even though the step's there, it's just over here.
Yeah.
You know, so now we've got the big bad done, you know, and it's Wyatt, but we still have the threat in Johnny Ringo.
Yeah, well, and I guess maybe because I've seen it so many times, I know that the real threat is Ringo, and it's not really. That's kind of a red herring through the whole thing. It's like Curly Bill is a wild man. Not saying he's not a threat, but he is not the capital the threat.
Right. Yeah.
You know, it's always underlying at least that it's Johnny Ringo.
It's kind of like now at this point, even Curly said, I worry about, and I skipped that like, I'm worried about when,
what the Cowboys, or does he say?
What's going to happen when Ringo runs this joint?
Yeah.
You know, like
he knows that he's wild.
Right. And so it's like, in a way, it's like, now does that make the Cowboys less dangerous that Curly Bill's dead, or more dangerous? Because Ringo,
I would offer more dangerous.
Absolutely. Because if it was up to Ringo, I mean, you know, Bill's kind of the one that keeps. I mean, he's the mind. It's like, no, we don't. It's just like, now it's not the time. I got a plan. He's very Dutch. That's what I say. He's very
He's Dutch.
Which I always like, especially in Deadwood. He's Dutch.
Yeah,
and that dude. Like the whole time, even playing the first Red Dead Redemption, I was like, oh, he's Dutch, or I was like, Dutch is Powers Booth.
Yep.
So he's got to be.
Hell, he almost looks like him.
No, especially in the first one, he looks like a skinnier Powers Booth, and they changed him up a little bit. But dadgum, what a good game. Anyway,
well, it's like so much of that game, it feels like Tombstone.
Absolutely, absolutely. Except for you can't match their look. I've tried to get that Tombstone look. Yeah, you just can't nail it.
Yeah,
I wish you could do more in that game, but
go online.
Probably, for sure. Yeah, mod and all that stuff. But
there's all kinds.
I'm a low tech redneck. Boy, I don't go
not even
online.
on mod. Not even on mod. It's just on the PlayStation Online or Xbox or Microsoft. Well, I don't know, whatever you use.
There's bad people online, so I don't want no part of it.
You realize this is going to be broadcast online.
I'm not watching it.
There you go. Okay.
Why would I? I was here.
Right. It's like, I was there when it
was there for it.
Well, I don't have a choice.
It's like when somebody telling
I have to watch it at least one more time.
Somebody telling like a third-hand story of somewhere you were. And you're like, really? Were you there? Were they there? I was there. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. I was there. Well, that's like I told you before. I was having a conversation with somebody. We were talking about video games, and they were like, "Well, you know, Mortal Kombat game." I was like, "Well, before Mortal Kombat, Street Fighter 2 was really the." They're like, "No, I don't think so. I think it was Mortal." I'm like, "Dude, I was there. I lived it. You're like 10, 20 years younger than me, bro. I don't care what you think you read about or whatever. It's like Street Fighter 2 was big before Mortal Kombat. Mortal Kombat became the biggest game ever at the time, but still, Street Fighter 2 was there first.
Yeah."
Because I was there. I was alive. You know? And it's just like people talk about like even like Hulk Hogan. Well, Hulk Hogan's he was not that big of a deal today. He was a huge deal. Whenever I'm like, I was there. I remember. I lived it. You know, dadgum, man. I don't know. It's funny when people look back at history. And I'm sure we've done that to people older than us, you know, and didn't even realize it. You know,
yeah.
Kind of get the okay, whatever, youngin. Run along. Run along, youngin. Oh. So on the river.
Yeah.
It leads into another really great Doc line when he's like, "Where's Wyatt?" You know,
down by the creek, walking on water.
Because he's like, he doesn't even understand what he just saw.
So, well, that's what was it Jack that says, or Creek that says, he goes,
you ever seen anything like that?
And he's like, I've never even heard of anything like that.
Yeah,
no, it's like that's just insanity,
right? Just walked out there, and I mean, you just got to think about it as like sometimes just good's got to prevail, you know.
Well, I like that he's like, it says, "What's he want? Revenge?" And he's like, "Not revenge, it's a reckoning."
Oh yeah, a great big hole in him. He's like, "For what?"
No one ever.
Oh no, he says that later.
Talking about Wyatt.
Right.
Whenever he says that about
I was
Wyatt.
thinking about Johnny Ringo.
Yeah, and it's like you see a moment with Doc and Creek and realize that.
Is that where the friends line is?
Yeah. And he's like, "What's your stake in all this?"
Yeah, he's my friend.
He's my friend. He's like, "Well, hell, I got a lot of friends. I don't have any."
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah, he says, "I don't," and that's whenever it's like, if you haven't figured it out by now, like Wyatt Earp is Doc's that's the most important person in Doc's life at this point. It's Wyatt Earp.
And I think it kind of gives him some redemption to be associated with Wyatt. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because he's not a very good person.
Yeah, he doesn't really have a moral compass.
Yeah.
But Wyatt can be his. You know, he knows as long as he's with Wyatt, he's doing right.
Right.
You know, for whatever reason. And now
at least on the right side of things.
Yeah, and even though money doesn't matter to him now, he's dying. You
Right.
know what I mean? It's like, well, what does matter? Your legacy, your friendships, your relationships, what you leave behind, you know? And it's like, this is the last thing. He doesn't have kids,
Right.
you know, he doesn't have a wife. Kate's gone, whatever. It's like he has this friendship,
Right.
and he can do right.
Yeah,
to
it really
end
is
for
the
that.
only thing that's left in his life
Yeah.
to cling on to that's worth anything.
And then he's going to have the one person remember that he cares about, how they remember him is
Yeah.
Wyatt, to say like, well, he knew what I really was. And you got to wonder what made Doc Doc.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, we don't know. Fun fact, Doc Holliday's cousin, real life Margaret, well, I forget her name, but she wrote Gone with the Wind.
Okay.
And there is speculation that she based the character of Rhett Butler on her cousin, Doc Holliday.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Margaret something. I don't know. But she's quite famous. She's dead.
Yeah.
But famous.
I'm not going to pretend like I know her last name.
Margaret something.
Don't say Thatcher.
Margaret Thatcher. That's it. Who's that?
She was like a prime minister of Britain or some crap.
She didn't
Years
write
ago.
Gone with the Wind, bro.
That's what I said. That's why I said don't say Margaret Thatcher. Anyways.
I was thinking of Lou Thatcher.
And then you got
Who's actually Lou Thatcher. Anyway.
then you have the thespians. They're leaving
Oh,
town,
yeah.
And Fabian has been killed.
Yeah, because they tried to take her
Her watch.
and he cursed them for cowards and they shot him.
That's when old Billy says enough's
Yeah.
enough. He's
Nelson,
done.
and he does nothing. Well, even earlier that thing after he kind of confronts him after they kill the not Ike and them, but after she had the OK crowd, he's like, I don't want to talk to you.
They're
He's like,
my friends.
yeah, he's like, I'm just a nothing, but if I wasn't, I'd fight you right now.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, well, don't say that then.
It's like then go away.
Yeah, well, go be nothing, homie. But then they're like, all they ever did was make fun of him. Like, keep better friends, man. Your friends are like literally the worst people. Like,
They're the worst people in the
you're like
entire
you're
everything.
like, yeah, you're this delicate little sweetheart of a man, and you're hanging out with the worst. What do you think's great about them? They shot at that man anyway.
Yeah, that's whenever he says he tried to bring something fine into this beautiful world, and you killed him for it.
He was the most beautiful man I ever seen.
So then Biehn apparently has deputized all the cowboys because they're all out.
Oh
running around with
yeah,
badges
Gee,
on.
that's ridiculous.
Yeah, right. That's what I'm saying. That he's worthless.
Biehn,
He is
God,
worthless.
He's the worst.
Doc falls out.
Yep.
They hide out at Hooker's Ranch. Here comes Mr. Charlton Heston.
Played by Charlton Heston.
It's like, this is the Hooker Ranch? Yep. That's me, Henry Hooker. And guess who stops at the ranch? Well, you got Doc and him.
Mm-hmm.
You've got Doc and Wyatt having their little conversation.
Right, yeah.
And
That's where he's talking about old boy being revenge for being born.
is that part?
I guess so.
No. They're talking, but then Wyatt steps outside, and who do you think is there? None other than Josie and them.
Oh, good.
Yeah. All is forgiven. I forgave you the moment you said it.
he said it.
Yeah.
He's like, can I look at you? As they just sit there and look at each
Yeah,
other.
and they looked.
You know what? I bet it's like,
They looked.
yeah. Well, what it is,
I'm
it's
looking at you.
stop looking at me, bro. Anyway.
I see the sun in your eyes. It's shining just right.
We're underground. Well, that's the hot Arizona sun on me. Yeah. No, but I bet it's like in what's that old Demolition Man where Sylvester Stallone and Sandra Bullock, they have to put the headgear on.
They're sitting across from each other.
So that's what they're doing. That's what are you mind banging her? Wyatt Earp, what you didn't know is he had these like abilities.
Then this is the sad part. One of the cowboys comes riding up, dragging a body.
Yeah, but
yeah.
that's kind of works.
Yeah.
Because it's like that's his penance for riding with
Yeah.
them and everything, and he's the one they would go after because he was a traitor.
Yeah,
to
because he
them.
was one of them. Yeah, McMaster's, by the way. Poor Michael Rooker got drugged through dirt.
Yeah, but hey, he was in the opening of the movie and he made it all the way into the third act.
That's what I'm saying, and he's spread out all throughout it.
Yeah.
I mean, he's sprinkled all throughout this entire movie.
He's the conscience of the Cowboys, and that's why he eventually has to break free.
And he has to be killed.
Yeah,
Because Ringo's now running the show.
And that it just makes sense.
And that's whenever he gives the showdown. He offers, Ringo's looking for Earp to meet him at this place, and that's whenever
He's like, "You tell him I'm coming."
That's whenever Earp goes back to talk to
Right.
Doc, and he's like, "What makes this man tick? Why is he like this?" And he says he can never kill enough, steal enough. What does he need? Revenge. For what? Being born.
Yeah, that's pretty deep line because there are it backs the idea that some people are just born bad.
Yeah.
A killer born. And I think that's just kind of what Ringo's supposed to be. I mean, I don't know. He might have had a horrible, horrible life. Abused child or whatever, or beaten or whatever. I don't know. But like, I don't know. Some people are just rotten to the core. Some people that have good. Look at a guy like Ted Bundy. He had a good life, good childhood, clean home, all that stuff. He was just a killer born. And that comes back to the conversation we were having about like not giving in to your impulses and stuff. His impulses were the worst.
Self-control.
Yeah. And of course,
Recognize there's more there, but
and
some
there-
people
there-
don't.
and there may be other things involved in that, like a certain type of, I don't know, bad wiring in the brain or an outside evil presence or something. I don't know, But the fact is that unfortunately in the world we live in, there are Johnny Ringos,
True.
Yep.
And so that's whenever he asked him this question. Oh, I was wrong. I mislabeled. This actually should have been 12, not 11.
Well, we're still on track.
Anyways, yeah, no, I just recognized because I was like, that says 10, but I still got a whole page there. So, by the way, we're on page 10 of my notes.
Dude,
that's
they don't
whatever.
they don't want to know how the sausage is made.
Anyway, that's the meats and the cat cuts. That's whenever he asked the question, I can't beat him, can I?
Yeah, and he's like, nah.
No.
You can't. Too fast.
Yeah, so Doc looks to be on his deathbed.
Yeah.
Wyatt gives him his badge.
There you go, friend.
All right, now I'm going to see you later.
And, the badge was probably meant to be like, remember me by this because you're
Pretty
never
much.
see me again.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
He's going to sacrifice himself, which what good is that going to do? Hopefully he can land a shot, but more than likely he would just wind up dead. So he leaves to go fight Ringo. Hooker leaves him with the line of, well, leave him here. If they want him, they got to go over us first.
Yeah, which is cool because at first he's a little bit like, y'all can't stay here.
Yeah, he's like, one night, then you got to go.
Right.
Then he's like, this guy's looking rough. He can't go anywhere.
And plus, you're talking about Wyatt Earp and Doc Holliday.
Yeah.
They're not exactly nobodies. But so, I mean, Wyatt has to take this fight. Even if he knows he's going to lose. What's he going to do? He's like, Ringo challenge you. Nah.
Hell didn't go that far. Hell does not go that far. Can't
I'm
do it.
good. He can turn himself in if he wants.
I'll pass.
Yeah.
I'll be waiting right here.
Y'all want to call it even?
It's over now,
Yeah,
right?
now it's really over. I'll tell you where Virgil is. Whatever. I got other brothers. So he goes and they're like, yeah, he wants you to meet him down that tree down there. It's like, which is kind of weird. He's not just like, hey, I'm here, let's fight. It's like, meet me down at this tree.
Yeah. Let's go somewhere nice and
It's like,
secluded and private.
Why you be so dramatic, dude?
Yeah.
Come me here, come me there. Yeah. And he goes, but this is such a great scene of switching bait. Like, I remember being in the theater.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, and then Ringo sitting there like, well, I didn't think you'd show, And then like, and then that silhouette where you're like, dang, here it is.
Right.
What's going to happen? And then,
Well, because he's actually walking straight and upright and all that.
well, maybe he was better than he let on.
Maybe.
But they wanted to fool us. And then when he steps out of the shadow, dude, and it's freaking Doc Holliday.
I'm your Huckleberry.
Yeah, I'm your Huckleberry. We started again. Dude, you got to wonder, how did he beat Wyatt there? So I like to imagine as soon as Wyatt left the bedroom, he's like It was like it's all he's like already dressed under it.
Wyatt goes and meets up with Creek, and that's when Creek's like, I don't have the words. So like, he was lingering for a while. Plus he knew what time he was supposed to meet him.
Right, yeah.
And so he might have just had enough time to run straight there instead of hang out with the boys and fiddle faddle
And
for a
then
minute.
maybe Doc I didn't see Doc's horse, so maybe he ran high step run, just like like you don't know that about Doc. He's like very, very fast,
Super quick.
yeah, coughing the whole way like a train.
Yeah, by the way, he looks like absolute ish.
Yeah.
Standing there in front of Ringo.
Oh, death, man, he looks like death.
Why, Johnny Ringo?
You
You look like someone just walked over your grave.
Oh man, basically saying like you're dead.
Johnny's like, you can see that look like he's
Oh,
I don't want this.
He's sober now.
He's like, I don't want this.
You know, yeah. How the turntables have turned, but
How the turntable spin.
yeah, it's like first you had the upper hand. Now you don't have the upper hand. Now you're dealing with Doc Holliday. He probably figured Doc was already dead, or that he would go kill Doc in his bed or something like that. I'm sure he had a nice little plan. He was going to send Ike. Foolproof. Did you kill the dead man? I brought him back to life. I accidentally healed him.
That's really what happened. Was we didn't see whenever Ike snuck in, and so Doc Holliday got all of a sudden so much better.
Yeah, he accidentally gave medicine instead of poison. No, Ike, you're the worst. Yeah, I love Ike.
Oh wow.
Really, dude.
It's like play for blood, remember?
Yeah, and he's like I was just fooling. Like Doc's gonna go, oh my bad.
He's like, he really doesn't want that, really.
No.
Like he has to convince himself.
No. And for him to say I'm just fooling, it's like, what do you think Doc's gonna be like? Oh my bad, I'll leave.
Oh, all right.
Okay, cool. Well,
now that I know that you're playing,
yeah, have fun
okay.
with Wyatt.
Yeah,
you know,
it's like,
he'll
all
make
right.
it quick.
It's like, sure, okay, I'll leave now while you kill my best friend. Sure,
Yeah.
that's no problem at all, dude. My bad.
Yeah, so
You're
this
just fooling.
well, I didn't know you were full. My bad. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Here, have my gun. No, but like at that point, you're exactly right. He has to convince himself because he's like, all right, Lunker,
Yeah.
let's do it. And he kind of,
Yeah, you can kind of feel that.
yeah, he
Like,
goes from organic, how he's always been this stone cold killer,
Yeah.
to now he's like, okay, it feels like an act.
yes,
And
that's what I think.
And that is maybe the first time you see that character blink.
True.
You know, and it's like
True.
when in the blink right there is like, okay,
Yeah.
I really don't know.
Yeah.
I don't have anybody here to have my back. I don't blah
Yep.
blah blah. We're both sober. This, it's intense, and you're like, okay, and you're getting ready for a great shootout. And you think it's gonna be this big,
This epic.
yeah, epic drawn out. But dadgum, if it's not one of the coolest shootout scenes or duels, we'll just call it a duel scene ever. Because let's talk about this scene. Because now they're squaring off with each other. Doc with his cigarette.
Got his cigarette the whole
Got
time.
his cigarette, yeah.
The whole time.
That's how serious he takes you, man. He's on. This is his smoke break. I'll kill him on my smoke break. Yeah. So Doc's walking around being Doc. Yeah, gum, dude. It's just in there.
Yeah. Say when.
Yeah. Say when.
Says Holiday smiling.
And
Draws.
Yeah, he draws, and dude, Ringo pulls out the gun. Before he's got it aimed, Doc has pulled his gun out, shot him in the left temple, put his gun back, and is watching him. Pow, boom. Like, show off, dude. Like, flex so hard, squashed him, dude. That is the equivalent of a squash match. Gave him nothing. He got nothing in. He got no moment. And he shoots him in the left temple,
Yep.
which controls the right side of your body. So he can't even lift his arm up now. He's not dead. And Doc knows this because he's intelligent. He knows. He's like, come on. He's taunting him. Come on. And in a way, Doc's probably like, shoot me, bro. This could be our chance to take each other out.
Says, you don't know Daisy.
Yeah,
You don't know Daisy at all.
Taunts him to his grave, dude. The last thing you hear is Doc Holliday going, ha, 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 ha. I'm better than you are, and I'm dying. In my prime. I'm in my prime. And he, and then he, I guess he took the badge off to leave it there because he wanted Wyatt to find him dead with the badge and be like, oh, Wyatt ruined that surprise.
Yeah.
You know? And he's like, the great line of like, oh, I wasn't quite as sick as I let on.
Well, before he's like, I'm afraid the strain was more than he could bear.
Yes. The strain of being shot in the head. And dude, the fact that he knows that he is, like, he already knows it's over. The dude's not even dead and he knows it's over. You know, and dude's all just, look. Come on. He's like, well, this is disappointing, but I'll have some fun with it. It'd be funny if he just start jumping around and yelling all this. I'm your Huckleberry. Say when. You Daisy if you do. Just like yelling all his trademark stuff. You're an oak. Yeah, that would have been better. But
This is all right. Let's finish it.
Yeah, and then they go and
indeed, sir. The last charge of Wyatt Earp and his immortals.
His immortals, yeah. Well, except for anyway.
Then we have another montage of death.
Another montage of death, and they finally kill Ike.
No.
They didn't finally kill Ike.
No.
Well, what happens?
2 years later, Ike dies after the end of this story. 2 years later, Ike dies in a armed robbery attempt.
Oh yeah. Well, he was being robbed. He would get killed being robbed anyway. Well, but he throws his sash down.
Ike does throw his sash.
I'm done.
And then Wyatt and Doc reach over and shake hands while they're riding.
They're like, should we kill him? Nah, dude, life will be bad enough for him. It's like, it's Ike. I don't know. Bullets are kind of expensive these days. Yeah. There's a rat I want to shoot. Yeah, I'll save it for that. That'll be more worth it.
Okay, and then
so the big bad's done. The Cowboys have been disbanded.
Yeah, now we got we have the next scene where we're at some sanitarium in Colorado.
Yeah, Colorado, the final.
Doc ran to hide out and die.
Yep, that's what's going on. Of course, Wyatt's still visiting them. And
yes. Playing poker.
Did you know about this scene to really help Val Kilmer look like he's sick and dying? That he underneath the bed where the mattress is supposed to be is just bags of ice.
Oh yeah,
yeah. He's laying on all sides to give him that. Look, method, dude. Method's cool, and it's not gold. In this case, it's gold. Yeah. Yeah, and that's sad because at this point, after all this victory and running and gunning, you're like, all right, it's Doc's time. You know, he's been dying since the beginning of the movie,
right? And now you have this. He says, "You're the only human to ever give me hope." Talking to Wyatt Earp.
Yeah,
you know, it's like, dang, dude. Talks about he fell in love with his first cousin, and she went and joined a convent over it.
Did she write Gone with the Wind?
It's like, okay, that's okay. And so then he commands Wyatt,
yeah,
go live.
You
and that spirited actress.
Yeah, we'll go stare at each other all day.
Go stare at her. And
of course, he looks at his feet, which it makes him laugh because that was real. Because it was just the fact him dying in a hospital bed, and he always figured, think die with your boots on,
right?
For gunfighters,
I see.
That he's laying there. Yeah, no boots on.
No boots.
Yeah.
No boots.
That's crazy thing. Doc Holliday was such a good gunfighter that he went through all that and then he dies of natural causes.
Right. Well,
Well, I mean, self-inflicted.
Yeah. Sort of.
You can only assume that. I mean, that's the TB's why he had to quit being a dentist because it made him his cough fits and stuff. People don't want you working on their grill while you're coughing.
No, really?
I mean,
hacking phlegm in the mouth, yeah. Mouth wide
and
open.
You're like, you got a scalpel.
Like,
for something.
That's a blood clot.
Is that contagious? Is that contagious? Have you played Red Dead Redemption?
Only if it gets on you.
Yeah. Oh crap!
Only if I cough on you.
You're a lunga too. So then he leaves, and I guess we assume that Doc passes on.
Yeah, he looks at the booklet that Wyatt gave him. It's called My Friend Doc Holliday.
Yeah,
and then this is funny. That's when he looks.
He looks at his feet,
and he appears to die. Like he doesn't move. Like that shows him just being dead still.
No, that was, as far as I understand, that was the final run for Doc Holliday. That's how he called it a day.
Yeah. So Then we have this we have a Christmas scene in Colorado, and
Yeah.
guess what happens is
They look at each
they're looking at each
They look
other.
at each other.
Josie turns around, and guess who's looking at her?
They're finally free to look at each other.
They can look at each other all they
Oh
want.
man.
As a matter of fact, they can do more than that. They can dance.
Whoa.
They
I
can dance.
didn't know it was that kind of movie.
Yes.
That's where it gets the R rating, when it goes from looking to dancing.
There you go. That's it right there.
Dude.
That's exactly what did it.
Oh man. I guess I can't watch this movie anymore.
Yep. You ever seen the sun come up over the Rockies? Next thing you know, you're looking at, I don't know, something like California. I don't know.
Well, and for anybody that knows their history, Wyatt Earp, after this, he moved to Hollywood and started telling his stories and promoting himself. And that's how we get the legends and the stories. And that's how ultimately we got this movie. Became friends with, I forget who, some Hollywood guy. I don't know. They say John Wayne met him one time or something. I don't know. But that's how it goes. He married the hooker, I guess. I'm sorry, she's an actor in the movie, but in real life she was a
Lady of the
night.
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 No.
Night.
Say it isn't so.
Well, okay, the credits rolling. This is not a Marvel film, so we get no clip ending or tag ending. The movie's over. This is back in my day when the credits rolled, the movie was over.
That means it's time to leave.
Yeah, you get up and go and let them start sweeping up the freaking place. Movies, they would even turn it off. The credits would start, they'd stop the movie.
It's like, it's over.
Yeah, now people are like, no, we got to watch. And then half the people are Googling it to see if there is one.
That's what I do these days.
Got
I'm
to,
like, hold
got
on.
to.
Hold on.
Yeah, so anyway, so that was Tombstone.
There we go.
What's your final thoughts? Watching it this time, did you feel any different about it?
Yeah, I had a lot more appreciation for the relationship of Doc Holliday and Wyatt Earp. I don't think that I ever really looked into the depth of it and really understood the loneliness that was Doc Holliday. I always just kind of watched it as kind of a shoot 'em up good time type of deal, without putting a whole lot of thought and perspective into who is Doc Holliday. And then there's a few things like I mentioned, that just kind of stood out. But it was fun watching it and like almost studying it this time. That's the thing about whenever we do these movies is it's I don't just watch it, and I assume you're probably the same way with before leading up to shooting this, is that essentially last night I spent about 4.5, almost 5 hours total on one watch, essentially studying the movie, not going too deep into it, but enough to write 12 pages of notes.
Right, yeah. Well, and you have to. I mean,
So-
one of us has to, and I'm not.
Try to keep a congruent timeline of it. But yeah, no, there was several aspects that, and even appreciating Curly Bill and his humor and things of that nature. I've seen this movie at least a dozen times, but I never actually looked into or thought about it in a serious way or things like that. I took it a step further this time. So
Oh, sure, absolutely. And that's one of my favorite things about us doing Scarecrow Hours is that we do it takes the movie to the next level for me personally, because we do study it at that point, and not to the point where it's a job. It's like, okay, I'm gonna watch this with a different pair of eyes than I've ever watched it
Exactly.
before.
exactly.
Yeah, and you can only do that with movies you really like anyway. And if you
Most
already like them, it's going to make you appreciate them even more, like you're talking about. And yeah, this is something like, this is a movie I've been watching since it was made.
Yeah.
And different, like we said, there was actors that were nobody in there to me that are
Right.
now like I super appreciate them being in there.
Mhm.
I've never watched this movie and thought, all right, I'm not gonna watch this again.
Right. Oh, yeah.
It's always like, all right, I'm good on that for now. But anytime somebody wants to put this on or something like that,
Yeah.
I'm gonna look up for some scenes. No doubt. Every time we got Wyatt or Doc, it's worth stopping and watching. And just because they're so good that you don't get tired of them.
Mm-hmm.
And they're the scenes that people can quote to each other and whatnot. I bet this movie is a lot more people's favorite movie than we even know.
Yeah.
I bet it's more people's favorite movie than they know.
Well,
Because a lot of people, you say, what's your favorite movie? They don't know.
true.
Like,
True. Yeah.
it's probably been only the last, 10 years where I'm like, well, Jaws is my favorite movie.
Yeah.
So I mean, you don't always know your favorites.
Yeah. I don't know that if I could I don't think today I could say exactly what, because I don't know, because my my views have changed, how I appreciate movies. I would have to say, what type are we talking about? For what reason? I guess would be a
sure.
question to ask. You know, what
Yeah.
you know, what are you talking about? You talking about lines? You talking about action? You talking about story? Are you talking about characters? What types of characters? Things of that nature.
It's much easier to do it in subcategories.
Yes, most
you
definitely.
know, but to just say overall, and that's why, you know, that's one for me to say, like, you know, I know Jaws is my favorite movie. Tombstone, I consider my second favorite movie. It used to be Rocky Horror, but I found myself wanting to watch Tombstone more than Rocky Horror. And sometimes a movie stays in your top for so long that it's not, you kind of outgrow it. Like forever, I said American Psycho was my favorite movie, and it was my favorite movie. But at some point, I still love that movie.
Yeah.
But I just kind of moved on, you know? But something like Jaws or Tombstone, they've been with me for so long that I'm not going to move on from them, you know? And if somebody wants to do a double feature of Jaws and Tombstone, excellent. Let's do that.
Well, like I said, it wasn't until this watching that I realized this was even an R-rated movie.
Right, yeah.
It just has never stood out to me as an R-rated movie. Like I said, I watched it with my son sitting there, and I didn't really think about it or think twice about it. You know, there's a couple lines, but for the most part, it's like, obviously the excessive drinking is one thing, but it's, you know, it's not gratuitous, I guess is, you know.
Well, no, it's true to the time also.
That's what I'm thinking. You
Yeah.
know, it's like, I don't know. It makes sense for what it was. It's not just, they don't just have it on the screen for the sake of having it on the screen.
Right, yeah, or glorifying it or anything.
Yes.
It was just true to the time. And, you know, I think this is also a movie that everybody kind of likes, even if it's not your favorite. I think everybody likes it. You know, I think it's a movie you could put on in mixed company. You know,
I agree.
Yeah, and if somebody hadn't seen it, you know, it's like, oh, you'll like it. And if people have seen it, like, oh, cool. You know, nobody's gonna be like Tombstone. I'm sure there's somebody out there that hates it.
Yeah, probably. If I don't want to know that person,
Right? Yeah,
I don't.
I've known too many of those people. So you know
I'm just like, no.
Yeah. So for my money, Tombstone, it's it's gonna last forever. Again, and we get these performances from these people, and not all of them are with us anymore. But you know, we keep them forever in these film. You know, especially you gotta look at it a little bit different too. Since losing Val Kilmer, the fact that he plays a dying character.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, I think in Val in the documentary, is it called Val or This Is Val?
I think Val. I just remember it being Val.
You know, watching you know, him going to these conventions, whatever you want to call it, where they're screening the movie and he's meeting the fans and things like that. Like that, whenever I saw that, it just kind of, I was like, oh crap, dang, okay, yeah. And then whenever we were talking about doing this, I was like, yeah, let's freaking do it.
No, right on,
You
yeah.
know?
And that's been I mean, because like when we said days, we just said it, and then it was like, yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
Then it was like, so that's something I like about us choosing these movies. It's very organic. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like, you know, I don't know what's next, but
Not really sure.
I bet it's going to be something we love.
Has to be.
Or something. I'm always willing to do something we totally hate. If we could ever find something that we really just hate. But honestly, though, like, I don't hate any movie. If I had to pick one, Benjamin Button. I don't like that movie, bro. Spoiler alert about Benjamin Button. It's about a dude, an old man. He's born an old man. He turns into a baby and dies. That's the movie. People are like, oh my gosh. I'm like, what is good about that?
I saw it one time.
Yeah, I accidentally watched it.
And that's it.
That's it. And people are like, well, there's this point where they're the same. I'm like, that sucks. Like, no, it's beautiful. I'm like, no, that sucks. You know what would be better than that? If they were the same age and lived together. If you're into people turning into babies and dying, I'm not cool with you. Because that's the most uncool. Anyway, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to turn this into that. But I do want to watch something like Samurai Cop 2 and us review it. That would be fun. Or
Oh
like
my gosh.
Trolls 2 or something like that.
Oh.
That would be great. I would love to do something like that. I wouldn't necessarily even hate that stuff. I'd just love to clown on it or whatever.
Yeah, that's all that would be, is talking major trash.
So, okay, on a final thing, if you were going to make a spin-off of this movie, what character would you pick to do a spin-off, and what would the quick plot be? Elevator pitch.
Like I've already mentioned, I would do a prequel. I would do the Doc and Wyatt meeting, and have something along that, as to get a backstory as to why they got as close as they
Right,
did.
because that is an
That's
interesting
what I would-
thing.
That's honestly that's what I would like
Yeah.
to see. Also, I wouldn't mind seeing some of the adventures of Curly Bill.
Yeah, I'd like to know more about Curly Bill and him and Ringo, kind of the other side of
Yeah.
that story. How
yeah,
they,
yeah,
that
I could
was-
see that both.
dude. If they did, they could do a series.
Yeah.
Of that from the world of Tombstone, you know, and do a prequel series. It's not too late for all that. I think they should. Now, me, if I was going to do a spinoff, 100%, it'd be Johnny Tyler and Ike starting a business together. Yeah, and going from town to town, solving mysteries.
They would never solve a single mystery.
Yeah, they cause all the problems.
They would get run out of town.
All right, if you got any ideas, let us know. We about that hour?
Yeah, no, thank you. Yeah, we are past we went past an hour, I think, on every episode. So thank you for sticking with us. Thank you for watching all the way to the end. We appreciate you. This has been the Scarecrow Hour.
Yeah.
And
Talk about Tombstone.
Tombstone. Make sure
Enjoy
to
it.
like, comment, subscribe, do all those fun things. Make sure to check us out on Spotify, YouTube, Rumble, and you can find all our videos at UncleSamPresents.com. That's Uncle with the K. Don't forget the K, or else you're not going to find the website.
You get this other Uncle Sam, this
Yeah.
patriotic fellow.
Yeah. You just, yeah.
He's
Anyways,
nobody's uncle.
he
really.
does want you though. He wants you. Anyways, thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's been fun.
Appreciate it. Yeah, absolutely. So clean
All
all
right.
this stuff up. I'm going to
Yeah.
go.
Okay.
We got to head back to Texas now. Arizona, you were good to us, baby. Love you.
Peace.
Peace. Random.
Welcome everyone.
Copyright 2025 Uncles and Presents. UNKLESamPresents.com. Email us at UNKLESamPresents.com. Spotify, YouTube, Rumble, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Email us if you wish to be a sponsor.
Random, the most random ninja. Uncle.
Check out the rest of our videos at UncleSamPresents.com.
Brought to you by Uncle Sam. This is the Scarecrow Hour.
Oh no.
Random ninja. Okay, I'm weak character.
It's recording too.
Awesome. Random ninja. James. Really?